Hello, everyone. So this is an international story at the moment, but I will tell you my view on it. I kind of wanted to talk about it anyway, because as we know, in the 80s, the Falkland Islands were invaded by Argentina, and now the U.S. administration, Donald Trump's administration, is basically saying that the UK hasn't got the right to govern over the Falkland Islands and South George Island too. Now, as you know, in 2011, I think it was, that the island, the Falkland Islands, had a vote, and I think it was 98% of the people wanted to stay with the British Empire, would stay with the United Kingdom because they're British citizens, etc. And of course, Argentina wasn't, too pleasant with them before invading the island. And of course, all this pretty much what Donald Trump is doing here, because, and pretty much it says in the Pentagon's documents too, that pretty much this is to punish the United Kingdom. And I don't think that's right. I'm an Irish person. Usually we beat up the British. But I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. I would say to any country, I don't think that's fair. Because in fairness to Keir Starmer, I give him a lot of shit for his crackdown and hate speech. But in fairness, he was right not to get involved in the Middle East. Because why would young British men go and fight for Israel, etc. In Israel, in the Middle East, for nothing to do with them basically, because they're in the United Kingdom. There's nothing to do with them. And the same, like Donald Trump says, NATO should be helping, etc. France, Germany, and Denmark, about the Netherlands. But this is the thing. Iran didn't attack the United States. Now, if Iran attacked the United States, it would be Article 5 of the NATO treaty. An attack on one is an attack on all. But the United States, along with Israel, decided to go in and start this war, basically, because they fired the first shots of this war. For whatever reason, we could get into all the details behind it, etc. But at the end of the day, that's not NATO's business because it's an offensive war. Now, if Donald Trump claimed he thought they were going to attack the United States, he should have probably let them, attack, and then be able to say this is a defensive war. NATO can get involved, and then he'd be happy enough with NATO because the rest of NATO could get involved. Of course, that would lead to a huge conflict, etc. So probably was better that didn't happen. I don't know which way would have been better. Would have been better for anybody because I think people still would be killed anyway, regardless of what way you look at it. Wars, no good business for anybody apart from the military-industrial complex and the people at the top. Not for the only Joe. They go off and get killed and leave a family behind, and fuck all's done for them. But this is all about applying pressure to the UK over not getting involved in Iran, and probably they'd want them getting involved in Iran. But Keir Starmer's right. We've seen what happened with Tony Blair in Iraq, with weapons of mass destruction, etc. George W. Bush, they found nothing. And a lot of UK servicemen died in that conflict too, along with Afghanistan, etc. So a lot of people are not willing to go and fight in another country that before in Iran they were told to have weapons of mass destruction, and then they went in and they found nothing. They literally found nothing. So why would people go and eat up what the administrations are saying, the UK administration, etc. But Keir Starmer's right in that, because it's not the United Kingdom's war. It's not a Holland's war. It's not any European country's war. It's the United States and Israel. It's their war, and it's up to them to get themselves out of it. But this is the thing. I don't think it's right to say just because you didn't go and come and help us when we started the war and get involved and send your troops to die, etc. We're going to we take out basically the because obviously in the Falkland Islands, Argentina invaded the United States. It was a bit shifty, I suppose, in the way, but Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister, of course, and then Ronald Reagan at the time basically said, yeah, the United Kingdom has the claim on the Falkland Islands because they've been there for the longest, and the majority of people are British there and want to be British. And of course, it didn't help Argentina that they went and invaded the islands. Nobody has the right to invade anybody else's islands, etc. Unless it's unless the people decide who wants to govern them. And the people have spoken in the Falkland Islands. I think it's a done deal case. There's no really dispute over it at this stage. Maybe in the 80s before the Falklands War there was a dispute. There was a legitimate dispute, but I don't think Argentina. But I would say also Donald Trump has given a huge amount of money to the Argentinian president. Given huge amount, like I'm talking about billions upon billions. Of course, Argentina is struggling at the moment too, and of course, the last time Argentina was struggling. This was all distraction to get into the Falkland Islands, so distract from the issues at the home front. What I mean by that, people were with mass unemployment. There was a military dictatorship, etc. Not much about military dictatorship in Argentina at the moment, but Donald Trump has just thrown money into Argentina. And it doesn't seem to be helping. It doesn't seem to be helping. It doesn't seem to be helping the political parties in Argentina. The president of Argentina is not. He's not doing well in the polls, etc. Because the sheer unemployment, other stuff, poverty, etc., crime. So I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm worried about more about this, because last time it happened was the same pretty much. So apart from the military dictatorship, there was poverty, there was other problems in Argentina, and the government of Argentina, the military dictatorship, was like, let's try and distract people let's invade the Falkland Islands and everybody be happy. But little did they know, the United Kingdom was going to send a task force to basically kick them off the island. And that basically ended the military dictatorship because they were humiliated by being defeated, etc. But I do hope, of course, the Iran conflict will end soon. But of course, the Falklands, hopefully nothing starts in the Falklands. But I do think Donald Trump should cop on a bit, to be totally honest, in this regard, because I don't think it's fair. Like it's playboy, it's playground politics, pretty much. What I mean by that is, you didn't help us, so we're going to cause more trouble for you by doing this. And I don't agree with it. Even if it was any other country in the world, I would say if any country, it's not fair to judge them, because again, the United Kingdom made the right decision in this regard, not to get involved. And especially because, again, the will of the people of the Falkland Islands, 98%, even if you wanted to have another referendum in the morning, it'd probably be near enough the same result. There's not going to be a huge change, especially when you're doing it like this. It'd be different to have an open discussion about it. But especially with the US just saying you were going to not recognise it, etc. And then the Argentinian president coming out with statements and stuff is not helping. It's not helping anybody's case. But yeah, hopefully nothing happens, as I said, but hopefully wars will end. Of course, the Iran war, and of course we see in Lebanon too. Hopefully the ceasefire lasts. But it's a very difficult world, and I will say that. But I just wanted to say that it's even as an outpost, usually beating up the British. But I think the British have the right to the island, to be totally honest, and that's to be generally honest with you, because the people decided. The people of the Falkland Islands decided. And at the end of the day, that's democracy. That's the way I see it. The majority of people in Ireland probably would see it that way too. Even though we don't, we're not going to jump up and down for the British, etc. But they are right in this case. Anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more and bye.